Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in. One of the things that I was thinking about earlier today, and it's one part of the reason is why I got my comments off too, is a lot of time what I see is a lot of know-it-alls and a lot of people who don't like to listen and know too much, but yet have nothing to show for it. And that's one of the lessons I had to learn. And my dad used to always remind me of the Bible scripture that says, there's wisdom in a multitude of counsel. Where when you get counsel and you receive wise counsel, and especially counsel from individuals who have achieved things and have done some things in their life and gotten some results in areas that you're trying to get results in, that's when we need to have the wisdom to listen. And to be able to understand and know that, you know what, somebody has gone before me and somebody has gone through some things on levels that I have not experienced. And I didn't understand that when I became an entrepreneur and I started to earn money. I have a friend who, his mother was a billionaire and his mom passed away. So therefore, his father basically became a billionaire, but then it also makes like him and his sibling a billionaire. And he used to tell me about money, and he would always tell me one thing. He said money spends. And what he means is that as fast as it comes, it goes. And there were times with me seeing him, knowing that he has basically like an endless supply of money because of the industry that his family is in. It'll always be around, and they will always have money, and it's generational wealth. And he's a third generation, billionaire, and the money goes up with each generation. And I learned then, and I had to realize, you know what, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to money in comparison to him. And I could teach him some things, but there's some things that he could teach me. And basically what he was explaining to me is that the more you have, the more you spend. Like the more money you make, the more money you spend, and you elevate your level as your money goes up. You want different experiences. And I remember reading an article in Forbes, and it was a lady wrote an article, and Forbes is known for being the money site. And the lady wrote an article about why she would never buy a home again, and it was talking about her and her husband. And she was just talking about all of the downsides of buying a home, and then the perceived upsides of buying a home. And she was talking about how flexible and how amazing their life is, that they sold their home, and that now they can move and they can rent a home and stay in that city for 3 years, and then they can move to another city or move to another home and stay there for 3 years. And how the average time that a person stays in one place is 3 years, and that it really didn't make sense to own a home when you never really own a home because of the property taxes, and then because of what you're going to pay over the time on your mortgage, and also because of the uncertainty. And I sent it to my business partner, who is a billionaire, and I was like, what do you think about this? How do you feel about this? And he said, I 100% would agree. He was like, I own a home because I can afford to own a home. He was like, I am at that time a multi-millionaire, so I can afford to own a home and everything that comes with it, fixing a roof, fixing an AC. But if you don't have $12,000 sitting in your bank account to fix the bare minimum roof, $12,000. A roof on a nice house, maybe 20, 30, 40,000 on a nicer house. If you don't have $7,500 to get a new AC when it goes out, you're finna be in a trap. And this is the thing, and this is the rewiring of our brain that we have to get, because why is it called the American dream? And I did a video on this, and I saw so many women defending their home and their home purchase, which it is true, you got to do what's best for you. But at the same time, with your home purchase, you got to ask yourself, do you have $12,000 to fix your roof? And are you saving up that $12,000 to fix your roof when you need a new roof? Do you have a retirement plan that will be able to cover your property taxes with inflation 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now? Do you have the money, $7,500, to get a new air conditioning unit? $3,000, $2,000 to get a new water softener unit? Not $2,000, $7,000 to get a new water softener unit. Do you have the money to cover your house in a hurricane, tornado, fire, when your insurance finds a clause that they don't have to cover all of it, or they don't have to cover it because of this one thing? Do you have the money then? And then if hard times come upon you, are you able to? One lady was like, well, if I'm renting a house, I can't go get the home equity out of my house if I need a loan. That's not a good strategy, because all home equity is more debt. So now if you need home equity, that means you don't have a savings, and that means you need to go get more debt. So if you need to go get more debt, and you already can't afford the debt that you have, to the point that you need to go get more debt, now you're just double dipping in debt. So now you have more debt, and you have a home equity line of credit that will cost you your home if anything happens again. So in this, what I'm saying is, if you can afford a home, then there's nothing wrong with getting a home. But what they will allow you to do when things are going down, when things get ready to go down, like now, like there was a lady I seen, she was talking about she just bought a home, and it's like, this is the worst time to buy a home, because interest rates are at their highest in over a decade, and the cost of homes are at their highest. So every single person who is in real estate, a lady said she read the Business Insider. That's a government organization. Like, the media works for the government. There's not going to be a site that's going to tell you the truth about the home market, because they will be blackballed by the government for spreading doom and gloom. But the people who are unattached, people say, oh, question your sources. Yeah, exactly. Question your sources. You can't go to a media-owned website, a media website that has been around for a century and that's in cahoots with the overall scheme of the government, and trust that they're going to give you a accurate financial forecast so that you can be prepared. Because if the president is saying there's no recession and we're not in a recession, any media that says otherwise, they are now making themselves the enemy of the state. They're making themselves the enemy of the government. So you have to use common sense and understand that, when has the media ever been on your side? And when has America been on your side and wanted the best for you? So the reason why owning a home is a part of the American dream is because of the financial institution and the trap and the setup that it is, to where you own nothing, because you get a home that is financed by the bank. The bank does an evaluation on your job history and your credit, and they approve you for the home if they predict that you will be in good standing long enough to pay them the cost of the home. And then once you've paid the cost of the home, they don't even see it as you owning this home, because you're really renting the home for 30 years until you pay off your mortgage, and then the home becomes yours. But then they've made the cost of the home 2 or 3 times in that 30 years that you've been paying for the home. So therefore, once again, this government organization that is backed by the government, FDIC insured, this bank, they really own the home. And if you default after 15 years, you've paid for the home, but now they get to take the home from you and then resell it and make the home price again. So then again, and you got to understand, I own a $1 million plus home. So this isn't coming from someone who rents and is just praising and promoting renting because I'm a renter and unable to own a home. I own a $1 million plus home. So I understand home ownership. I also own 10 acres of land that I'm going to build another home on. So I understand ownership in America. But I also am a millionaire. And I say that bluntly and directly, not bragging or anything. And even me being a millionaire, I struggle owning a home. Because right now, for example, I'm looking at my pool screens and I have a 2-story pool cage because I'm in my gym, which is on the 2nd story, on the 2nd level. So I have to take stairs to get up to my gym. My gym is connected at the top of the gym. It connects the pool screen, the cage. Well, that pool cage is missing 5 screens from tropical storms, hurricanes, or what have you. Guess what? Every pool screen repair company that I have called said they don't do two-story repairs. They will do a whole new cage, but they won't do a 2-story repair. Because for a 2-story repair, they have to get on top of the roof, and they got to have equipment, something long enough to lay down, to reach out and lay down the screen and press it down in the space. And it's just very dangerous. It's very risky. So someone has fallen and then they've been sued and almost had to go out of business, is probably why they no longer do 2-story pool screen repairs. I called the pool screen repair company, who they do the whole screen, and the quote for a new cage, a new cage is $77,000. You see what I mean? Now, when I bought this house was $600,000. But prices are at an all-time high, so my home went up over $400,000 in value. But guess what? The $400,000 does me no good, because if I sell the home, I will be buying, and I've got $1 million from it, I will be buying a house less than what I have. I will be buying a $600,000 house, or a $500,000 or $400,000 house for $1 million. So I will be downgrading. I can't find a house as nice as mine for what I would sell my home for. So that shows you that the inflation in the prices is not real. And it is intended to take advantage of people without financial literacy. So they're selling you houses for $200,000 that are worth $75,000. They're selling you houses for $400,000 that are worth $200,000. So when the market resets and it goes back to a normal market, the $400,000 that you just paid for a house, now your home is back at $250,000 or $300,000 in value. So now the home equity loan that you're banking on to be able to help you in tough times, like in a recession, is not going to get approved unless it get approved at a ridiculous interest rate that's gonna drown you anyways. So this is where the wisdom in a multitude of counsel comes in learning and understanding. And this is why I turn my comments off, because a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about, just talking and confusing the people who are seeking wisdom, knowledge, and understanding about their situation. So contrary to what we've been told about the American dream, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you renting. And the reason why rent is more than a mortgage is because your rent includes the things that could possibly come up, but not all the way. So if a mortgage, I've seen people say their mortgage is $700, $800. Like, where do you live? Paducah, Alabama? Like, we're not living in those type of cities where a mortgage is $700. So this conversation is not about you. This is not about middle of nowhere America with $700 mortgages. And you might want to look into that mortgage and make sure you don't have some type of crazy balloon payment that you have to make after 10 years, or you lose all of the $700 that you've paid a month. You might want to look back at that contract and make sure you understand what a balloon payment means, because they do that in houses and cars, where they will have you paying this small amount per month, but after 10 years you got to pay this lump sum of tens of thousands to pay off your debt. And if you don't have that, then everything you've been paying was just rent anyways. And I did a mortgage loan like that before, so I know all too well how it works. And also you have hard money lenders where you got a crazy interest rate, 12% interest rate. You got bank statement loans. You have different types of loans that is set up to trip you and trap you. So you spend all this money, you paying out the yin yang, but then when you default because you got in over your head, now you can't afford to keep it. So now everything you've paid for the house basically, but now you still lose it. So if you're not in a place to where you can buy a home, but you also have $50,000 to $100,000 sitting in a savings account that you can access, not a penalty-ridden account to where you have to pay harsh penalties for withdrawing early, but an account where you can touch your money without a crazy 10% or more penalty, then you're not in a position to buy a home. And what you have to realize is, if you're pinching pennies and you're paying a $700 mortgage, you're not saving money by not paying a $1,500 mortgage, because if you are a grown working adult, you should be, $1,500 rent, you should be prepared to pay a $1,500 a month rent, because with your rent, you have to pay attention to your contract that you sign. And that again is a lack of financial literacy if you sign a rental agreement that says you're responsible for the roof. And the roof is not utilities. Every rental contract, you have to pay utilities. That's lights and water, the roof and the AC. So let's say you're paying $700 a month, which I don't know where that's happening at, unless this is just the poorest city in America. Let's say you're paying, or the house was just, a blip on the radar. But let's say you're paying $700 a month for a mortgage. Well, how much in your new roof, let's say you get in a type of incident to where there's a leak in your roof, because you get what you pay for. So your house was like a stock home that was built in 2 weeks by these cheap builders who cut corners. So you have a bevy of issues that's going to happen, because what you have to realize in America, that no one is doing you any favors. So if you bought a house and your mortgage is $700 a month, $800 a month, you get what you pay for. They're not giving you a home that's worth $1,500 a month, but charging you $700 a month. They're giving you a home that's worth $200 a month to $350 a month, and you're paying $700 a month. But 70% of Americans cannot touch $1,000 right now in the event of an emergency. So if you need a new roof and it will cost $12,000, do you have $12,000 cash, liquid, sitting in an account that you can withdraw from without a crazy penalty to fix that $12,000 roof leak? Because your insurance may not cover that, because they may have clause in there that they are for catastrophes like fires or hurricanes. And if they do cover it, they're going to raise your insurance and or drop you. And if they drop you, now someone else has to pick you up, and they're going to pick you up at double the price. So now this home that you have for an affordable mortgage, one incident happens, your insurance goes up. Property taxes are also going up. One lady had to give up her house, I seen her on YouTube, because her property taxes doubled. She bought a house, a black woman, just like who I'm talking to, trying to help y'all out, but a lot of y'all know too much. She bought a house, American dream, got the house, then the next thing you know, her property taxes double. The property taxes double. She can no longer afford the mortgage, but she spent her entire savings for the down payment on the house. So now she's lost her down payment. She is losing her house because she cannot afford it. And now she has to sell the house, but she has to sell the house at a 20% loss. So she owes hundreds of thousands, but will be getting less than what she owes, or will get lucky and have to break even with what she owes. So now she has dumped a large down payment into this house that she doesn't get to keep forever. Why? Because of the uncertainty. So the people who are intended to own homes are the people who have long money, the people who have savings accounts with 6 figures in it. That is why when the property taxes double on your home, if you're renting the home, the landlord will increase it by 10%, not 100%. So if your rent is $1,500, it will go up to $1,650 the next year. But you're dealing with an owner of a home who most likely owns multiple homes. So therefore, if you hit a bind, your home equity comes in the area of writing the homeowner and say, I have lost my job and I am searching actively for a job, and I will BCC you on every application that I put in, and I'm asking that you will give me a forbearance on my rent until I get a new job and start getting paid. Because you're dealing with this company that owns a home and they need to keep a body in there, and they're not the bank, unless the bank owns your home and you're renting from the bank, which is what a mortgage is. You're renting from the bank. You don't own the home. And when you go to get a home equity loan, you are subject to bank approval. So if the bank says you're coming to get this loan because you need more money than you have. So being that you're a person of color, we're going to look through your credit with a fine-tooth comb. We're also going to assess the market. And although Business Insider is not reporting the truth about the market, because we are in banking, we understand the truth of the market. So we know in the next 12 months, the bottom could fall out. And we hope that it doesn't. And we don't know that it will 100%. But hope is not a strategy. So we have to go based on what we truly believe and what the market is showing us behind the scenes that you cannot see, because you are not a seasoned homeowner. You are a minority who was not given financial literacy growing up, and our system is set up to take advantage of your lack of knowledge. So, because we don't want to loan you $100,000 or $200,000 for you to go spend frivolously, because we don't trust that your minority background understands how to spend money, which is why you're coming to us in the first place for a home equity loan, we're going to deny this home equity loan while you're on hard times. But because you are so faithful of a mortgage renter, you've already paid us the principal on the house of what it's worth. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take this home from you, because we really don't care about you and your minority status and your lack of financial literacy, because you were so excited to get a piece of the American pie and have a piece of the American dream that you went out and bought a home and spent everything you had on the down payment. And now, because all of your money is gone, and because you don't have parents who can back you up and help you through the tough times of this mortgage, we got you. So thank you so much for paying off the interest, the bulk of the interest, a lot of the principal. But now we have to take this asset for us and liability for you. We got to take this back off your hands, and we're going to resell it. Even if we have to auction it off and sell it at cost just to cover the last little bit that it's worth. And this is what you have to understand. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I've made, as a millionaire, every financial mistake, climbing from making $20,000 a year to being able to make $20,000 in one engagement, in one day. So I've seen the climb. And I've seen the issues and the pitfalls. And so if you're a brand new homeowner, you're about to be in for it. So what you got to be focused on is, instead of spending $200, $300, $400 to entertain at your house, to show off to your friends and family your new home, put that $200 to $400 or whatever you like to spend on an entertainment night, put that into a savings. And make sure that you have not just money in your pension, 401k, and all of that, but make sure you got money in your high yield cash savings so that you can withdraw from it in case of emergency. So what you have to realize is that buying a home isn't just having the money for the down payment. It ain't just that. You need to have 6 months of the mortgage put away, so that if you lose your job, if something unforeseen comes up, you are the landlord. Not technically the bank is, but the bank, they might give you another loan, but the loan is just another shackle. So you need to be able to borrow from yourself, meaning in your high season, in your seasons of receiving a bonus and receiving extra money for Christmas from friends and family, birthday money, in your high season, you got to take money and put that money into a savings in case you can't get a loan. See, what you got to understand, when I'm talking, I am an exception to the rule because I have a brand. So I can leverage my brand. That's why I talk about the 3 B's. So I can leverage my brand. And if I want to go get some money, I can take and get some money from a company who says, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars for X amount of percent of your monthly revenue until we're paid back this amount. But guess what? It's no credit check, and it's no hit on my credit. It's not based on my credit, and it's also no repossession. So my house isn't on the lien. My car isn't. I lose nothing. They are willing to take a gamble because I've built the brand. That's why I preach the 3 B's. Because when you build a brand, now you got leverage outside of the bank. So when I say, but also because I've built the brand, I have an audience that I can market to and I can run ads to. So let me give you an example. I'm starting a company where in this company, there is a 600% return, and it could be more. It could be more if I order more of the product. But there's a 600% return on the product. The product is something that 100% of people can take. 100% of people can use this product. So 100% of people need this product. So now my total accessible market is vast. And because I focused on building a brand for 15 plus years, I have 3.5 million people. So even if this video offends you and you say, I'm not supporting you, and I don't care if it blocks my blessings by being a hater and being jealous and getting offended by you sharing an honest perspective with me, because I'm not intelligent enough to hear an honest man's perspective who owes me nothing, but yet sharing insight that benefits him nothing, because he's telling me to think twice before I buy a house if I don't have the funds. But it's not like he's turning around and telling me to rent a house from him that he's charging me a 200 or 300% markup on the note, the mortgage note that he's holding. So therefore, the insight that he's giving me is unbiased insight only to help me. But because I'm too bitter and jaded and hurt and I don't want to listen to him, I'm not going to support anything he does with the hopes that he goes broke. So then he can't speak from the place he's speaking from as a successful entrepreneur. So even if you feel like that and you say all of that, guess what? Because I've built an audience of 3.5 million people, there's going to be a sector of people who are not haters. There's going to be a sector of people, at least 100,000 people, that I can access who are not haters, who are not bitter, who are not jaded, who sow seed, who they may buy a product that they don't even need just because they sowing a seed into their own dream, just because they want what they sow to be what they reap. And they have that abundant mindset. So guess what? It's those people that I'm going to reach out to and that I'm going to support, that I'm going to give to. And with this product that I'm going to do, because I've already earned back my principal investment on all of my online courses, I can use my online courses as leverage. This is the power of the B that stands for brand when you build a brand. So because of this, I can take and say for every person who buys my new product, you get to use this code such and such to get any one of my 85 online courses free of charge. You get to use the code. I can give the courses away because I've already earned back the money and the time that it spent me to create the course, because the courses have been in existence. So I've earned the money. So now I can take and leverage those courses as a free bonus. So someone could come and spend $30 with me and then go get a life coach certification course that is really valued at $12,000, because it's as good as any course on the market. And that's the highest I've heard one of my clients paying for a life coach certification is $12K. So I know any certification out there, mine is just as good because of my experience and my success as a coach. And that's what I'm teaching you how to build in the program. So right now, the course may be $1,000 or $2,500. I don't know. But when I sell this $30 product, I'm going to give a bonus so that you can go and get this product. You can go and get this product, this course as a bonus. So guess what? I can take a loan, even if I had to go to the bank and get the loan, or go to a friend and get the loan. Because I focus on the 3 B's, brains, brand, body. Right now I'm working on my body. I have the brains, I have the brand, I'm working on my body. That's my last B. We all should be in progress on the 3 B's. So because I've built the brand and I focus on the brand, a lot of people, if you have a brand, they don't care about your brains. If you have a brand, they don't care about your body, because you have a brand, and that is equity. That's what I call brand equity. That could be a term out there that somebody else uses too, but that's a term that I made up, and somebody else probably made it up too. But you have brand equity. So with brand equity, you have money coming in every month from your brand. It could be $1,000. Well, guess what? Because you have money coming in every month from your brand, you can go to a well-off friend and say, hey, can I borrow $10,000? I will pay you back. I will give you 50% of my company sales every month until you're paid back $12,000. And I expect that I can pay you back in 14, 15 months. That's your friend. You know they got it. They sitting on it. They got a good job. They have no kids, not married. They sitting on thousands. They didn't even mention it before. You know they got it. This your friend. Your friend say, okay, cool, I got you. Why? Because you're not begging. This not a handout. You about to give them something back. So now your friend say, okay, boom, I got you. So now your friend will say this, the bank will say this, because they'll look at what your brand is doing. It's outside of your job. They're looking at, okay, you got a job, but your brand doing this, or your brand is your job. Okay, so we got you. So now I'm in the sauna, got to give I've been in here about 40, 50 minutes, so I have to keep opening the door because I also have not, ate in about 13, 14 hours. I was dry fasting today, but I had to listen to my body. And so because I got in the sauna, I had to get me a Propel water, electrolyte water. So I'm gonna have that water, but I'm not gonna eat. And I got a lunch tomorrow, so I'm gonna be fasting. So I'll probably end up at about 36 hours fasted by the time the lunch comes. Another lesson for the body: work on your body, start fasting some, do what you can do, but listen to your body or consult your health professional. So now you get the loan, but you got money coming in every month. So with the money that's coming in, you able to pay back the loan. But with the money that you borrowed, because you have a brand, you can go and create a product that you can sell to your audience, which any product you sell, you should be charging at least a 300% markup. So meaning if you pay $5 for the product, you should be charging $15. So now you're tripling your money. You're turning $5 into $15. So you have a 300% return on a loan that you're paying 20% on. Even if you're paying 40%, 50% return on this loan, you can create a company where you have a 300% markup on the product. And so this is what I mean by I am an exception to the rule, and anybody who has worked on their brand is an exception to the rule, because we have another product, another asset that we can leverage. And that's what you have to think about. That's why I talk about the 3 B's. So I'm not telling you don't buy a house if you can afford to buy a house. What I'm saying is don't buy a house out of competition with your friends and family. Don't buy a house to look like you're successful. Don't buy a house because you believe it is the American dream. Buy a house because it makes complete financial sense. But also listen to the people who are unattached to the government, who are in real estate as homeowners and real estate investors, who also are YouTubers, who are making money from YouTube videos, but yet still don't have to tell you the truth, but telling you a crash is coming. Go on YouTube and look at housing market crash and watch the videos from experts and some who are being interviewed, and it's not on their channel, so they're not making a dime from the interview, and they're telling you, brace yourself, prepare, we may go through a crash. They can't say 100% because they don't know what the government is going to do. They don't know if the government, if Trump gets in office or if Biden stays in office, if they're going to prop up the economy, if they're going to give everybody a stimulus check. So if they give everybody a stimulus check, that means the bank gets stimulus checks. So if the bank gets stimulus checks, guess what that means? That means with the bank stimulus, the bank has money that's been given to them. So guess what that means? That means the bank can afford to give you a 3-month to a 6-month forbearance on your mortgage. So that's why the housing market, the housing crash is looming and said to be coming, but no one can say 100% sure because they don't know what card the government is going to play. Because no president wants a recession on his or her watch. So that's what you got to realize and understand about this. And understand when I'm bringing you this information, I'm turning off my comments until the Lord says otherwise. Because we got a lot of new people, a lot of strangers, a lot of bitter people, a lot of jaded people, and they just get in the comments and say stupid stuff without even listening to the video. They just say stupid stuff just to confuse the people who are coming to listen. And so I'm taking the devil and his power out of this. Just like in the house of the Lord, the devil has no power. So although we virtual, this is still the house of the Lord. And a word that is intended to help you in your life across the board, not just your relationship, but also in your finances, because that's what God calls leaders and ministers to do, to help the people in every way possible. Because when these things are in order, these things go hand in hand with righteousness. And what goes hand in hand with righteousness is also wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So seek and get wisdom, and don't think that you will know it all, because I thought that I knew it all, and I'm paying the price for thinking that I knew it all. And that's why I'm able to share what I'm sharing, so that other people who are in a position and getting ready to do this can pause and really think about it and make sure that they set up fully for what they're going into. Prime example is when I bought my first house, I did it through a private loan with a business partner instead of going to the bank, because I know I'm an entrepreneur, and I know in entrepreneurship things could be up and down. So God gave me favor and wisdom and favor. See, it go hand in hand. If you accept wisdom from the Lord, you also going to be able to receive his favor. But if you think you know it all and you just got to beg the differ spirit and you want to argue just to argue, you are taking yourself outside of favor, because you're not even willing to consider what wisdom speaks. And that right there makes you a fool. So the purpose of this is for us to gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So, hey, this is Tony Gaskins. God bless you. We'll talk soon.